KJ, what about your Raiders, man? What do they need? We know they've been needing a lot for a long time.
I I feel like I'm in the same boat as Efren. We need a new coach, but sadly, we can't get a new coach. From what I heard is that we still are paying. I don't know where Efren went, but we're
Yeah.
still we're still paying. What's his name? What's the one that got fired? The coach that got
Uh,
fired.
Gruden.
Yeah, John
Gruden.
Gruden. We're still paying John Gruden for like the next 5 years or so. So we're paying him 10 million, and then we're paying our coach now, Josh McDaniels, that we don't have enough money. That if we fire Josh McDaniels, we still have to pay him. We don't have enough money to hire a new coach. So he's here to stay. And even with that said, the management said that they want to keep him. I I don't know. He didn't. A lot of these coaches, they don't really like Derek Carr like that. They deal with him because he's the best they got, but it seems like all the coaches we've had don't really mess with him.
And to that point, KJ, about their contracts that they're paying, I want to say too that they're still paying Mike Mayock, your guys' ex-GM, money as well on his salary too.
Probably. But no, like I feel it depends on what quarterback we get. I'm hearing Aaron Rodgers one day, then I'm hearing Jimmy G the next day. Either way, with one of those two quarterbacks, we could do some damage in the playoffs, but I don't see us making the Super Bowl, let alone winning it. Um, I told you before, Alan, that I don't believe that Aaron Rodgers is very good in the playoffs. Ever since his Super Bowl, he's been what 7-9, and I mean that Packers Lions game was basically Super Bowl. I mean, was a playoff atmosphere, and they lost it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was at home.
Yeah, and it was a home game they lost the year before. Yeah, he lost because of his special teams. They just let the 49ers get what, two touchdowns off of them or something?
Yep.
But and then Jimmy G, he's just Jimmy G. He's still there. The only reason why he got some minutes was because Trey Lance was injured, and I mean,
And
Purdy
and to
looked
that
better than
point,
he did.
but to that point,
Yeah.
what I would say is I don't see Jimmy. If Jimmy G goes to the Raiders, to me that doesn't move the needle. Like to me, that's you're not getting that much better than Carr if you're even getting better than Carr. I mean, to me that you can argue they kind of fluctuate. Carr's probably had a better pedigree. Whereas like even Jimmy G, he's certainly had the better team. He's always had a really good offensive line, great defense. So I just don't really see it being a big difference, I would just say. But Aaron Rodgers, though, is the cat that you would say, okay, you know what? He was just an MVP last season, wasn't that great this season. You maybe take a chance on him, KJ, I believe, and if you have him, he's the guy, especially with his connection with Adams.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a possibility that we don't swing something, get Lamar Jackson, but that's all. That's speculation. But nah, I think that it. Like I said, a lot of the coaches we've had don't really like Derek Carr that much. If we were to get Jimmy G, they would embrace him. And like, uh, I know that Dak Prescott, he was by far the worst because he missed 5 games, but Derek Carr was still tied with him for most interceptions this year. So he was throwing the ball away. And I'm not gonna blame it all on him. He did good for us the however long we had him. I can't remember, what is it, like 7 years, or was he the same year as Dak, or was it 9 years? Either way,
Yeah, I want to say it's closer to 10.
yeah,
Well, nine. Because,
nine.
or 10, 10, because this is the 10th year in the league because
10.
we got that
Okay,
restructured contract.
okay.
Yeah,
Either
you
way,
know what? Thinking about it, yeah, because it's one more year than Adams has been in the league. Because didn't he
Yeah.
come out the year before?
Came out the year before.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, we
So
got
and let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though, KJ. Do you think the defense? Do you think anything needs to be done on the defensive side of the ball?
there's a
And can
lot
they
that needs to be done.
can they keep Jacobs also?
I think they can keep Jacobs. They should have re-signed him. I don't know why. I understand why they did it with Jonathan Abrams. I know he wasn't playing that good, and then he went up to Seattle, and I don't know how he's doing now. But they should have re-signed Jacobs at the start of last season. Um, but no, I think our defense has been like worst, like top 10 worst defenses since Carr's been in the league, and we need to do something. We got two really good centerpieces on the line, but we have no DBs. We have nothing. Safety suck. All of it. Um,
Derek, The Cowboys are open for you. We'll take you over at that.
But nah, I
Miss you,
think that
bro.
we have a great offense. We have a below subpar defense and no quarterback. I think in the draft we're gonna. It's hard because you don't know if it depends on if we get Rodgers or even Jimmy. Because if we have Jimmy, we have a
Well, one of the things I think that we're overlooking, guys, is you got to remember there's this kid in Baltimore that doesn't have a contract.
Oh no, I said that.
Right.
I said Lamar Jackson. We might get him, but
Okay, so I mean,
but even
if you get him,
I don't think so. Sorry to burst your bubble, KJ, but I don't think Lamar's fit for Josh McDaniels' offense.
which might be true. What were you gonna say, Amos?
Well, no, that's fair. No, I actually agree with that, Efren. But I would also say you would pick Lamar Jackson would be way more important than the head coach, right? So you would sign Lamar Jackson with the chance of saying, "Hey, hold on, Efren."
I understand what you're saying.
Go ahead, Efren.
I'm sorry, but I understand that what you're saying.
well, let him
But-
finish what he was going to say, though, bro. Let him finish.
But the owner's been with the
No,
coach.
let Amos finish what he was going to say.
It's like I get 5 seconds and then he'd say something. It's like it's just so consistent.
Yeah,
Every
let
time.
him finish.
And the funny thing is, I even said I agree with him about him not being a fit with Josh McDaniels' offense. Okay, but again, an elite QB, a QB who's the franchise is more important than someone like McDaniels, who's never had success as a head coach. He hasn't. He just hasn't. He simply hasn't, Efren. So you can roll out your eyes as much as you want, but McDaniels has never had success as a coach.
And that brings up a point that I was going to say is that he this might be an opportunity for them to get out of that contract. Is if he can't be successful with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, then he's not going to be successful with anybody. It doesn't matter who he has for his system. He's not a head coach, and he should be gone.
But
right?
Like I said, we don't have enough money to hire a new head coach. We're paying Mayick, John Gruden, and then we would be paying.
Right. That doesn't mean he's a good coach.
Well, the thing I'm trying to tell you is that owner is going with Josh McDaniels the whole way. He don't care what kind of. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, yeah, we know that because of the fact that they let Carr
go. They won't get Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's going to be asking for a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah. Right. They won't get Lamar Jackson. I agree. I totally agree with that. But I'm just saying, like.
But you're saying that so that's what I'm saying.
What did I say that you disagreed with? Go ahead.
That you're saying that the coach, that the owner would try to pick him up if he had a chance. Lamar Jackson.
No, I'm saying if he had the chance, he's gonna pick Lamar Jackson over McDaniels, who's never had any success in the league. That's the point.
But I mean, you could say the same thing. Like Derek Carr had some success. He got the team to the playoffs twice without McDaniels, and he got rid of Derek Carr before he got rid of McDaniels. I understand that he can't, but I mean, Derek Carr made it there last year with the interim head coach.
With the interim head coach, yes.
Hey, you have to understand too. Derek Carr isn't anywhere near Lamar Jackson. We're talking about an MVP candidate. You know, like Lamar Jackson, you move people for Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
And then the compensation. So, for example, you trade Russell Wilson for what? You got 2 firsts and a third. Okay, for Russell Wilson. The compensation that you're trading away is so much for that impact franchise type of QB. So again, if the team is willing to do that, that QB is going to be the guy. He's going to be the most important guy in that franchise. So do I agree that the Raiders are going to go all in with Lamar Jackson? No, I don't. I'm just saying though, specifically Lamar Jackson though, if you're going for him, you're putting all your chips on the table for Lamar Jackson.
You are, but then what do you do if they don't mesh, like you said, or like you and Efren said, they don't mesh, and you can't get rid of the coach? What do you do then?
Well, again,
you get rid of the coach and you keep the quarterback because he's probably more valuable than the coach is, and you bring somebody in. You give one of these new guys, one of these young guys, a chance. You pay him minimal money and you give him a chance to prove that he can coach.
They had a winning interim coach. And the following year, they said, no, we're going to bring in Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, but I think the problem with the Raiders is that they have the same issue that the Cowboys have. They have an owner that thinks he knows more than everybody else,
That's true.
And he needs to let the people in his front office do what they're supposed to be doing.
That is
you
true.
know,
I do agree with you on that.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
What were you going to say, Amos?
This owner wants to bring in.
What were you going to say, Amos?
No, Alan, you're 100% right. Your facts. What Alan says 100% right. It's literally an owner situation. And I would just say, I hear what you're saying, KJ. I mean, you know your team, but we're talking about the NFL. To my belief, if McDaniels struggles, if Josh McDaniels struggles next season, I think he's going to be let go. Now, can you go out and sign a big time guy? We don't know, right? But if he struggles, I believe he's going to be let go, and we'll revisit this. Hopefully, if we're still in here, we'll definitely revisit this conversation. But I don't think he stays on if they're terrible again next year.